Hello, Guernsey County and the rest of southeastern Ohio. My name is Austin Warehime, and I'm an attorney at EQUES Law Group. I am a Guernsey County native who just returned to Guernsey County after 7 years in Nashville and Cincinnati, getting my law degree and practicing law in those two cities. I came back to Guernsey County and joined EQUES Law Group with the main goal of mine of bringing EQUES Law Group to Guernsey County. I'm super excited to bring EQUES Law Group to Guernsey County because EQUES Law Group believes that we succeed as a firm when the community around us succeeds. And part of that is going to be showcasing some of the great things that we have here in Guernsey County. So this year we're going to be bringing you a YouTube series where we're going to be highlighting some of the local businesses, the local business owners, and other influential people in Guernsey County. This is the first installment of that series. This is the first episode that we recorded just before the new year. We recorded with Jennifer Vincent, who is the president of the Cambridge Area Chamber of Commerce. You'll notice at the end of this video that we had a little bit of technical difficulties. We're upgrading our camera and our systems, so hopefully we won't have those issues in the future. But if you just bear with us, the first 27 minutes or so are great. In the last 3 minutes, there's a little bit of technical issue, but it's a great interview. Jennifer tells us all about what she does at the Chamber of Commerce. She tells us what her visions are for the future of the Chamber. And you also get to know her on a more personal level, why she loves doing what she does. And you will really get the sense that she loves this community, and that is her driving force in everything, is to build this community, Guernsey County, Cambridge, and make it stronger and tighter knit than it has ever been before. So I hope you enjoy this video, and I hope that you will join us throughout this series as we highlight other influential people in Guernsey County. Hi, Jennifer.
Hi.
Thank you for meeting with me today and agreeing to be the first guest on our new podcast series here.
Thank you for the invitation.
You're very welcome. My wife was the one who suggested, what better way to kick off a series about Guernsey County business people than starting with the Chamber of Commerce.
I appreciate that. I give her credit.
She's a smart lady, much smarter than me. Yeah. She's the brains, really, of all our family operation.
Yeah.
So anyway, I really, I think the big thing that we need to tell the audience is, what in the world is the Chamber of Commerce? I will admit that I was pretty far into my career before I understood the power that a chamber can have on a community. Sure. in a positive way. So why don't you just tell us about what your definition of the Chamber of Commerce is here, specific to Cambridge?
Sure. So it's the voice of business. And I know some folks will say small business, but that's not true. It's any business. And when I say voice, it can be so many different things. It can be advocacy, it can be advertising, marketing, and just so that people know what your business is and who you are. And I like to give voice for them in the ways that the community knows who our businesses are, what they do, what they can provide. And that's anything from our manufacturing to our small mom and pop business, our restaurants, our hotels. In any of those businesses that belong to the Chamber, we are a voice for them.
And how do you go about giving those businesses a voice? What is the stuff that the Chamber is actually doing on a day-to-day basis, on a yearly basis, that kind of thing?
Sure, so many things.
Yeah, I know the list is long.
It's a good thing you have time.
We do, we have plenty of time.
So we have anything from programs like you can get discounted health insurance by being a chamber member. You can get a discount on your workers' comp, things like that. But then, and most people don't know those things.
Right.
But then there's also things, we also have a program called Guernsey Noble Safety Council that we run that program in conjunction with the Bureau of Workers' Comp for Ohio, and offer safety meetings once a month. They only last an hour. So it's another program. We have development, professional development program. It's our Leadership Guernsey program. We proudly graduate about 40 students per year, 20 adults and 20 juniors from our 4 area high schools. And this year's our 30th program graduation year for adults, so we're very proud of that fact. And then there's things like advertising, networking. We hold networking events throughout the year, our business hours networking events. In fact, for 2025, we're going to do a little rebranding to the hours, networking hours. We're offering some that are before hours, meaning they're at 8 a.m. So folks that have maybe their kids are in sports, or kids are at the sitter, just to make things a little bit more convenient for all of our members. And at the networking events, they're free, so there's no extra charge. It's part of your standard membership benefits, and there's usually food and giveaways, that kind of thing. But most importantly, the opportunity to meet with other businesses, and just again, so that we all know what businesses are available to us in the community and what services they offer. As far as connecting to our representatives, yes, we do. Since I have been chamber president, I did start my first year here holding a legislative luncheon, and we hold that in April. We invite our congressmen, our state representatives, our state senators. We invite all of them, and then whoever's available to speak, we love to put a program together and just have them tell our membership what they're working on for our county specifically. And it's a fantastic way for the chamber members to be able to connect with those that are working on policies for us specifically to Guernsey County. The first year I did it, I sent out an invitation to all the, like I mentioned, and they all said yes, so it was quite the program. Yeah, and then I know last year, one of the things that really touched my heart was somebody from the Guernsey County Board of DD was there, and they brought a young woman who stood up and asked a question regarding things that affect our local Board of DD, and it was absolutely touching that she was there to advocate for herself. So, I thought that's what makes this job so much fun. This is not a job to me. I have way too much fun. I just absolutely love what I do.
Yeah. Well, that's where I ultimately want to take this. Is I want the audience to get to know you, and I know you. I've seen that you've done some amazing things, not only for the chamber and helping the chamber grow in terms of number of businesses and connecting all those businesses, connecting them to state representatives, but also personally in running, on the physical side. You also don't necessarily come from a background that people would normally associate with being a chamber president.
Right.
So why don't you just tell us a little bit of how you got to be the chamber president, and then we'll go into I want to talk running a little bit, because I'm a runner, and so we need to talk about that.
I can always talk about running. So my college degree is in healthcare, and I was in healthcare for 15 years. And then went into sales, which led to marketing, and I was in sales and marketing for 14 years, and at a marketing position that I was in, I was introduced to our local chamber through that job, and then I was introduced to Leadership Guernsey, and I was a participant in Leadership Guernsey, and that year which was 2020, so you know what I'm going to say. The end of my Leadership Guernsey experience was all online. But the administrator at that time had asked me if I was interested at the end of that year in taking over as Leadership Guernsey administrator for the following year, which felt like this huge honor to work for the chamber. And Leadership Guernsey administrator is a part-time position, and so I got more involved, obviously, with the chamber that year because I accepted that position. And then halfway through my Leadership Guernsey admin year, the opportunity to apply for president came up, and I did not think in a million years that I would that I would even get an interview, let alone the position. And the board told me that they wanted me to think outside the box, which, as you said, obviously they were thinking outside the box when they hired someone with my background, and they said they just wanted it to go in a different direction, so here I am.
Yeah. Well, before we hop off of that, what's the different direction you've taken it? Like, talk a little bit about, what was going on at the chamber before, and then what have been your priorities here at the chamber?
So not necessarily what was going on here at this chamber in particular. Right. Now, I think that the big thing is the chamber world has changed from what I've been told. I can't say that from experience, but I'm in an organization called the Chamber of Commerce Executives of Ohio, and their whole focus is to make sure that chamber executives has the tools and the things they need to be able to do their job and do it well. And so they tell me that the chamber world has changed a lot, and a lot of that is because look at how our world changed after 2020. So that was more the board's intent, was we know things are changing. Look at how many businesses don't necessarily have a brick and mortar, hang a shingle, if you will, right? Yeah. They're an online presence. And I've had so many people ask me that question, why do I need the chamber if I don't have a front door? My response is, you need me more than the guy with the sign on his front door. You need the chamber to be able to make sure that people know you exist, make sure they know you're there, and how do they find you, how do they connect with you. So I think that's the change, right? Is just our world has changed, so chambers have changed, how we operate has evolved.
And so when you saw the world changing, what kind of changes did you make here, or what, I guess not changes necessarily, but what were the priorities that you set when you took this job, when you got this job?
Yeah, my first priority was obviously to learn the job, and
it's a good first step.
Yeah, and just making little changes. And obviously one of the big ones is, I know some people cringe when you say it, but it's social media and how we tell people where we are at and who we are. A lot of times that is through social media, and I am one that I believe there's so many positives to it. I prefer not to look at the negatives. There's so many positives to social media and what we can do with that, and how we market. So that was one of the first things I did, was just looking at how can we use social media for good and be able to promote the chamber and our membership.
Yeah, I will say I've noticed a marked change in that. Having been out of town, I still kind of knew what was going on in Cambridge when I was living in Nashville and then living in Cincinnati. I still had an idea, and a lot of that did come from seeing chamber posts on Facebook, or seeing you share something, or seeing other people in the community share something. It all kind of started here at the chamber. And so it's a great pivot, knowing everything that happened in 2020. I also know that membership with the chamber is way up.
Yes.
How did you make that happen? How did you get more people to see the value the chamber has and pull the trigger and join?
I mean, truly, I think a lot of it was just the organic, it grew from, again, one of the first things I did was just simple things. You know, when you join the chamber, we give you a plaque and welcome you to the chamber and make a social media post. And I am not a sit behind the desk. I want to be out and about. Goes back to that running thing. I want to be I want to be up and moving, and so I would take their plaque and go visit them at their business, you know, and take that picture and post it on LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram, and with that picture tell a little bit about the business and where you could find them. And like you said, those posts were getting shared, and I think organically that's what started growing it, as well as, I mean, I was also spending time in the community, getting to know our current members. So I was, again, out, you know, just seeing people, and I think that sparked the interest.
Yeah. Those. You get a lot of likes and there's a lot of shares. Anytime a new chamber member joins and you get that nice, pretty picture with the plaque,
Yep.
It's always seems like a very high engagement event because everyone who supports the person behind the business
Right.
is out there sharing and helping that individual. And you know, that's where I want to take you now. Is who are you? Enough about your profession. We know you love it. You love your job. That's great. You're doing a great job in it.
Thank you.
It's hard to be good at something if you don't like it. But who are you? Why? I guess what's the why behind all of this?
So I absolutely love our community. Love living in a smaller community. I don't know that I would do well in a Columbus, Cincinnati. So kudos to you for living in Nashville and Cincinnati. That's probably never going to be me.
They
but
were fun,
that's
but
okay.
I'm back here for a reason.
That's true, which makes me very happy. I love our community. So prior to me coming to the chamber, I was already involved in Rotary of Cambridge and excuse me. And the other things, you know, like we talked about, you know, Leadership Guernsey. And then 6 years ago, a friend of mine and we started GROW, Guernsey County Runners and Walkers, which is a nonprofit running and walking group. And we were always looking for ways to not only hold a running walking challenge just to keep us motivated and moving, but who can we give the money to and who can we raise money for? And I don't know, I guess I love that part of being in a community like this and being able to do those things. So working at the chamber and continuing to give back to this community just made sense. The running thing came because about 11, it doesn't seem like it's been that long, 11 years ago, my doctor told me I needed to lose weight. And I thought she meant a couple pounds, and she did not, unfortunately. So I thought, my sister runs, how hard can it be? So I trained to run a 5K with my sister, which ultimately I lost some weight, and then ran that first race with my sister, and it was incredibly slow. It was terrible, but I was addicted to that feeling of crossing the finish line. And so I just kept running 5Ks. Within a year, I thought, how hard can it be? I'll just train for a half marathon. And I ran my first half marathon, which I look back now and I absolutely laugh at how horrible my training and my nutrition was for that, but I survived it. And then through running, I mean, does a run count if you don't post it on social media? It absolutely does not.
It does not.
So through making all those posts, you know, I had a couple friends say, how did you start running? So a couple of us girls, we said, we'll do a couch to 5K. and do it with all of our friends. And it just grew from there, not to keep using that word, but it was very simple in we all got together. There was probably that first time around 14 of us, and we would meet a couple times a week. So we created a Facebook page so I didn't have to text 13 people.
There you go.
And the page didn't have a name, so one of the girls come up with a name, and that's just kind of how it kept, getting bigger and bigger. And one of the ladies said, "Hey, do you mind if I invite, this girl or that girl?" And one of those people that got invited, which is Lane McCartney, which is who ended up helping me grow the two of us. She came to me one day and she said, "Do you know, if we were a nonprofit, we could do so much more with this group." And where she was working at the time, she worked in their nonprofit division. Lane is a CPA. And so it was her idea and her brains, because I didn't understand all of that. She was able to turn this into a nonprofit group. And then from there, we decided we hold 6 races a year and give the money to different organizations in the community.
Yeah, that's great. It's running is one of those things. It's so funny that I was, all of what you just said, I was tiling it all back, and it clearly all comes back to community. That's clearly what is most important to you and your why. That's what the chamber does. It creates a community. It's the voice for that community. That's what GROW is doing. It's a community of runners and walkers, people who want to be active and out and about. And that's one of the reasons I'm a runner, is just it's always brought me the best friendships. And you said it all. It's all community. Well, that's amazing that you've been doing that.
Thank you.
I guess we can talk about GROW and we can talk about the chamber now.
Yeah.
We got them both we're both covered. So what are the things coming up we'll start with the chamber, coming up in 2025 and beyond, that have you the most excited?
Goodness. Sounds like I'm not excited, but I guess what I'm thinking in my head is, where do I start?
I know there's a lot.
There's so many things. So each year that we do something, the home show, for an example, I'm cutting down the name of it, but it's actually the Home Garden Business and Travel Expo. Each year I try to find something that we can add to it to make it bigger, better. What can we do to make it better? And this year we added the name Travel to the expo, because we do have some businesses that are travel related, as well as our Visitors and Convention Bureau. They have been at our home show each year since I started, and one of the things that Debbie Robinson from the VCB, one thing she does is she offers it to all of her partners. So we have like Seneca Lake and Salt Fork and the Wilds, and they're all set up there as well. So I wanted to give mention about that there is travel. Plus there are some small businesses that have joined the chamber that offer travel options locally as well as out of town. And then last year we started this, and we're going to bring it back this year, is we offer on Friday, our local schools, the career navigators, bring high school students to come and talk to the businesses about what job opportunities there are here in Guernsey County. One of the things that, I guess, when we talked about all the things the chamber offers, workforce development is huge. And one thing that I would love to be able to turn around is, instead of seeing our young folks leaving, is seeing them come back. And they don't know what to come back to if we don't tell them. And I think that is huge, and it's another reason that as a chamber we say we give voice to business. And so we have about 90 vendors that will be at the home show, and the students can come and talk to those vendors. We have anything from manufacturing, we do have gardening. If you want to, remodel your house, we have all those things. But we also have some other businesses, because it is a business expo as well, that are set up that, maybe a student doesn't want to go to college, but they want to talk to somebody at MVHC or the hospital. Maybe they'll find out through talking to somebody at MVHC or the hospital that, hey, to work here and this is the position you're looking for, they could go to technical school. So there's so many options and avenues for our students locally, but how do they know if we don't tell them?
Yeah.
So I'm really excited because we have a program that we're working on for those students for that Friday again as well. We have some speakers that will talk to them before we turn them loose on the expo and let them talk to all the different vendors.
Great. Well, that's super exciting. When is that event?
That is March 7th and 8th.
Okay, so plenty of time for people to figure out how to get there.
Yes.
Where could people find information about that event if they're wanting to attend? On your website?
As
Great.
well as, I do believe it has been created as an event on our Facebook page.
Okay.
So you can find it at either place.
Okay.
To know more about it. There'll be radio ads. We'll be promoting that here in the new year coming up soon, so you should be able to see things all the time.
Good. Well, how about Grow? What's coming up for Grow? I know there's a race series that starts like in a few weeks here, not too long from where we're talking right now.
Yes. Oh gosh, I bet it's less than 4 weeks right now. So. Grow, this will be our 5th annual. I'm really excited to say we've been doing this for 5 years. We call it the Winter Race Series. And so it's hard to get out and run. I am embarrassed to say how hard it's been for me the last couple weeks.
I'm a treadmill only person in the winter.
To get outside in the winter. I mean, I had the best intentions yesterday morning and it was 9 degrees.
Yeah. I go straight to the basement.
Yeah, that was tough. So we know how hard that is, and to encourage everybody to keep moving, we hold this Winter Race Series. There's one race in January, one in February, one in March. We hold them on the 3rd Sunday of each of the...
Oh, we had a little technical difficulty, but we were so close to the end.
Almost there.
So,
that's okay.
So what we were talking about when you got cut off is you were talking about the Grow Race Series, and you had just described the Winter Race Series has 3 races.
Yes.
And you were getting ready to tell us about all the other races and the big thing that's going to happen in 2025 with the medal.
Yes.
So can you go back into that?
Yes. So the Winter Race Series is January, February, March, and then Grow will be putting on 3 more races, one in July, one in August, one in November, and if you complete all 6 races, you can run, you can walk, either one, complete all 6, the medal series will click together and form one big gigantic medal.
That's super exciting.
Yes.
And the last recording, I tried to tell the New Year's resolutioners that they need to sign up for these races because it'll keep them going. And one of the big things about New Year's resolutions is when you have a little bit too much time between your change and your ultimate goal, it can fade. But when you have a race series like this, and you got to be ready every month.
Yes, it'll keep you going until the last one's November 1st.
Yeah.
So
pretty much a whole year. Really,
yes.
It'll keep you through the bad weather. Then the weather will be good, and everyone is fine getting outside once the weather's good.
Yes.
And then it'll keep you going into the early days of that bad weather.
Yeah.
And then it'll start again. So
and then we'll start all over and we'll have something new. Something new.
Yeah. So. Well, it's been great talking to you. And I have 3 questions that I'm going to try and end every interview in this series with.
Okay.
The first one is, what is your favorite part about Cambridge, Guernsey County? Favorite thing, people, places, whatever.
I'm sure you can imagine my answer would be community, and I don't want to be obvious, so I'll try to come up with something else. I just love that I obviously, as we discussed, love to run, and there's places like the trail and, just so many places that I can go run, and it's safe because we are a smaller community, and so it is safe to go running. And the food, we have fantastic restaurants, and one of our really cool restaurants is the Bear's Den. It's a farm to table experience, and I just love that we have so many just things about Guernsey County that makes us unique. We have the largest state park, Salt Fork. So just, I could go on and on about all the things that make us unique, and I can't not say it, but it is community. And one of the things I was told when I took this position, and it took me a minute to see it only because I had to get to know everyone, is that other communities are envious of what we have here. Our directors, the people that work for all our different organizations, anything from here at the Chamber, the VCB, the Community Improvement Corporation, our police, our sheriff, our fire, whatever it is, everyone gets along so well and works together. And I was told that when I started, and I 1000% agree with it. And it's all because we have the same goal in mind, which is to make Guernsey County the best place for everyone.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, it's been a tenet of the entire conversation that we've had today is community. It's part of the reason I came back is for family, for friends, for community. And that leads in perfectly. You're talking about all these people working together to try and change, improve the community. If you had a magic wand and you could change any one thing, add, delete, edit anything in Cambridge, Guernsey County, what would it be?
I would just love to continue to improve the things we have, grow the things we have, add more reasons for people like yourself to continue to move back.
But yeah, my wife and I, we saw all of the things happening and changing and growing, and it's very exciting. It's a very exciting time. There's so much endless opportunity here, and you see that, and you're really pushing other leaders in the community to emphasize those things and help bring people back, help keep people here, and it's really inspiring.
Thank
you.
The
last really big question is,
oh gosh. Okay.
In your opinion, what is the most important resource in the world?
People.
We'll leave it there. That's the perfect answer. I don't know that we need to dive into the why. I think that we can leave people wondering why. So if you want to learn any more about the Chamber or Jennifer, you can find her on all social media, Jennifer Vincent, on Instagram, Facebook, all those things. You can find her through the Chamber website, through the Chamber's social media. Any other places you would want to point people to find you or find out more information?
I think you named them all.
Grow.
Oh yes, Grow has a Facebook page as well.
GROW.
Yep.
If you needed help, it's not confusing.
No,
it's a simple one. Well, thank you again for having me.
Thank you.
And look forward to hopefully having another conversation sometime in the future.
Sounds good. Thank you.